Moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you for staying with us. We begin our conversations this morning as the T.T.P.S brings us the crime update, and as we speak about the fight against crime. And we're speaking with none other than, and let me congratulate this morning, Senior Superintendent Rohdill Kirk, recently promoted to that position. And I want to say congratulations to you from me personally and from all of us here at Tobago Updates Television. Congratulations and good morning.
Good morning, Adanna. Thank you for your congratulations and good morning to Tobago.
Right. So we're in a situation now and we're seeing, a rapid increase of criminal activities, fatal criminal activities, where we're seeing that lives are being taken by weapons, and I'm certain on illegal weapons. We're seeing so many things happening, and right now is a point where we feel very unsettled here on the island of Tobago, and we just have to have that conversation. What is happening in our Tobago?
Right. It's unfortunate for me to sit here this morning. It's a sad morning for me, noting that just in a short space of time, we have 2 persons lose their life to gun violence. Indeed, we have seen an increase of violent crime on the island, and I know that it is correlated to the drug trade, and that is what the intelligence coming to the police. We know that. The thing about it, what I am appalled about is that all these persons live within communities, right? I am saying that the police is doing all we can do. We have implemented crime prevention measures. We have, in terms of hyped up our raids and searches. But the thing about it is, we need that community support, because these persons are hiding among the community. They are hiding. They have persons assisting them in terms of plying their trade. We need in Tobago to take back our space, and the only way we can do that is have that cooperation from the members of the public. And this is why we try that outreach in terms of our town meetings, our station councils, all those stakeholder engagements are geared towards, having or coming up with ideas to deal with the crime situation within the communities. But we need persons to buy in. So that is what I'm urging this morning.
That is very true. I mean, we always, when we have conversations on this platform, we always say, if you see something, if you know something, say something. And it's very important, as you rightfully said, we are aware that there are people who might have information, who might be afraid to come forward, or for whatever reason it might be. But we want to restore a measure of confidence, because I know that a lot of people are whispering that they have no confidence in the T.T.P.S. They have no confidence because they feel, there might have been some compromises. I'm not saying that that is the case, but we want to ensure that there is a measure of, they have this assurance and this certainty that the information they share is going to impact, it is going to impact the way that the T.T.P.S approaches its criminal activities. In terms of police presence in areas that we deem as hotspots, you've said that some of these criminals, of course, they live in communities. Have we identified any of these communities, and is there any strategy in place to try at least to intercept any of these types of activities?
Well, what we have seen is to relate to any one particular place. We can't do that. We are seeing the trend throughout the entire island. The thing about it, what we have observed as well, is that there are persons placed in areas monitoring the police activities. And why I say that, just 10 minutes before the shooting in Plymouth, I may even stretch it out a bit, the police patrols were right in the area, patrolling the area, and as the police patrol moved, the thing happened. I will also say that even with the shooting at Mount Grace, the police patrol was in the area. And you see again, it happened. More so in the Mount Grace, we have the police currently detain 2 persons who are persons of interest in relation. So they are assisting police in the investigation. However, we need a lot more in terms of going forward. Because when you look at where that incident happened, on the main road, close to a church, it tells me that persons could have been traversing that roadway and end up in the crossfire. So again, you know, the only way we can stem this, and people were sitting on the other side of the road, I'm saying again, the persons involved in these crimes live right in our community, and until it affects us personally, right, that is when some people will come out. I know that people raise the concern about not trusting the police, but then who would you trust to fight the battle? We are the agency charged with responsibility to fight against crime. Now, we are hearing a lot of commentators in the public space talking about the police lack intelligence and the police lack this and lack that. He who is in the kitchen are the ones that feel the heat. People could sit down and make comments otherwise, but I am saying that with the limited resources that we have, we are doing our best. We have implemented a lot of measures aimed at crime prevention, and the two facets in crime fighting is crime prevention and crime detection. Now, I'm saying again, we have channeled our resources towards that. So we are doing what we need to do. I know people would like to see the police in every single space at every minute of the day, but we can't sustain it, right? But we are doing the best with our resources, but we need more eyes on the ground. Your information will be treated with the strictest of confidence, and I assure people, I assure the public that that would happen as long as you channel that information through me, right? So that is what I'm asking at this stage.
And you know, you mentioned, Superintendent, that people, we probably a little bit complacent until it becomes personal, but how much more personal can it be? You just made a reference to the fact that this shooting, the most recent one in Mount Grace, that people were sitting on the other side of the street. I'm sure they were sitting there casually, possibly unaffiliated with what is happening.
Definitely.
And, you know, for God forbids that something might have happened and someone might have come into contact, an altercation or something with a stray bullet. A
stray bullet. And that is the thing I'm saying again. So we need to we need to heighten our situational awareness. We need to be aware as to what is happening in our environment. And, you know, once we start to do that, you know, I go back to the point to say, long ago when somebody comes into your area, from the time you notice something strange, red flag go up. And we need to come back to that stage, not to be panicking, you know, but you have to watch what is happening. And I was here before, and I've said it before, I've been criticized before, that the type of weapon being used are high-powered weapons. These are not the ordinary weapon that a man will be walking the road with. So you have to move from point A to B in a motor vehicle. So sometimes when you see the police on the spot checks, it's not about just ticket and all of that. I've said it before. And I could bring the data to show you that almost all of the shootings that took place within the island is persons moving or using a motor vehicle as a getaway. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes the same persons innocently assist these persons of eluding the police.
You know, I think in terms of giving the information, like, you know, we say if you see something, if you hear something, say something. What are the platforms that people can use to give this information in the strictest of confidence and anonymity, so people will not know who they are? They want to remain anonymous. They want to remain behind the scenes. Sometimes people might be wanting to give information, but they are afraid that they might be identified as the person giving the information, or they might be branded as a snitch. Because, you know, the way the world is going now, people just want to stay in their own corner, but that cannot work, that does not work anymore. So how can people give this information with the assurance that the identity will not be revealed or compromised?
We have said it before on many platforms that 555-999-800 TIPS are the main platforms in which you can anonymously share information. And I am saying again, there must be some police officer that one can trust. Tobago is a small community, you know, and we know one another. So I'm saying again, you know, even through me, I assure you that your information will be treated with the strictest of confidence. As long as that information is shared, tell us where the guns are. Tell us the people. Although we have some identified through our intelligence, we still need the evidence to back it up. So we need that information coming in, hey, where these things are being placed, because I'm saying again, these people live in a home, they live in a house. We know what is happening within our homes. We know what is happening within our communities. We need to take back our communities from these criminal elements, because very soon, you can't walk the street of your community.
And that is
You
very
can't.
scary. That is very scary and very unsettling, because at the end of the day, what you just really want to live in peace. You want to live in harmony. You don't want to be scared to go out to the supermarket to get something and be caught in an accident or something happening of that nature. And so we just really want to, I mean, I am here also, Johnny, with the T.T.P.S. If you see something, if you know something, if you hear something, if you suspect something, and as you mentioned earlier, living in communities, when you see strange people coming into the community or strange activities taking place in the community, say something to somebody. Even if you think you share an idea with your neighbor and say, what do you think about this? Just even if you feel uncertain in your own self, get a second opinion and then take it to the authorities or the persons who can make the decisions in terms of, following through with, in terms of investigating these situations.
But let me draw your attention just to one thing. For instance, there was a incident in Wim at the Playway booth over the weekend. And when you look at how it happened, this guy just walked up in the road, walked in, took what he needed to take, and left. Understand what I'm saying? So, I don't know what was taking place. And if you look at the video, you will see it for yourself. It's like open sepulchre. It's like whoever was managing that institution at the time weren't aware what is taking place. Even the person on the street. You see a man coming up with his head cover. Watch that. I am saying again, we have to be mindful and be aware of what is taking place around us. And this guy was able to do all of that, exited, and go his merry way. We as citizens have responsibility too, because crime affects each and every one of us. And whether you like it or not, it affects each and every one of us in some kind of way. So things like these, we have to try to be more aware of what is taking place. This we know is an area that deals with money. Put the necessary security measures in place, because at the end of the day, when the person gone, you now rely on the police resources to go and look for that guy. And understand what I'm saying? So this is something that could have been avoided had the persons take the necessary measures to secure their place properly.
As we're talking about criminal activities, and you mentioned earlier when we were speaking about the shooting in Mount Grace, you mentioned that 2 persons were apprehended and they are assisting. In terms of the other shootings, have you been able to apprehend anybody? Are you getting any sort of support in terms of the investigation? How is those going?
Well, what I must do at this stage is thank the persons who would have came forward and shared the information. We are saying that we have some positive leads that we are working on, and very soon, something should materialize in terms of, bringing these perpetrators to justice. So again, there are persons who are heeding our calls, and we want to say thanks for that. But we want the entire population to be on board. And once that happens, we could return Tobago to the peaceful, calm, green, serene place it was, and it should be.
Superintendent, I know we're talking, you also mentioned that they're using high-powered equipment, machinery to carry out these things. Where are they getting them from? How are they coming in to the island? They have to pass somewhere to get here. What are the control mechanisms to intercept the arrival of these machinery into the illegally on the island?
Well, in terms of the police activities, what we could do is, because how this system is designed, we can only look for it when it's arrived on. So in terms of preventing it from coming through, whether it's coming through legal or illegal means. For instance, borders around Tobago are very porous. So all we could do is act on the information as to visit these places that are suspected to have illegal landings, to treat with that. But we have been collaborating with the other agencies, and this is what we need, that sort of support, even on this air, land, and sea, in terms of treating with it. The police alone, it can't be that when it reaches here, the police all over looking for it. There must be some measure in place to treat with it before it actually reaches. And this is what we want in going forward. We will have that interagency collaboration in terms of treating with these issues, because we find it a bit too easy for a person just to come from anywhere and land in any corner of Tobago. That is something that needs to be controlled. We are doing our best as the police to try to stem it, but we need that additional support from the agencies who are responsible for patrolling our coastline and our territorial seas.
Senior Superintendent Rohdill Kirk bringing us crime updates as things happen here in Tobago, and speaking a little bit about the operations of the police and calling for collaboration and cooperation from communities across Tobago. Remember that Tobago is mine, Tobago is yours, Tobago is ours, and we want to maintain a measure of peace and tranquility here for ourselves and for our children and for generations to come. So let us try to work together. I know there might be differences, there might be concerns, but let us try in our very best to work together to assist the T.T.P.S. to bring crime under control. Thank you, viewers, so much for staying with us. This is where we end this part of the conversation, but we do continue this morning in studio with our other guests. But before we do that, we have to go for a short break. And before we go, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live.